Okay, if you've entered a marathon in 2019, then this is the perfect episode for you. We're out here at the track, a place I spent many an hour during my high school days, but now it's all about a marathon-specific training program. This is the ultimate track session to predict your marathon time for 2019. So let's roll those intros and get this episode started. Welcome back to another episode of Why I Run TV. This week's episode is all about the marathon, and specifically a race prediction training session that you can do to really hone in on what that actual realistic time for the marathon is. For me, the marathon is absolutely everything. It's my favorite event. I grew up running track when I was in high school, running 800s and 1500s, and I progressed onto the marathon, and it's still the event that I absolutely love. So if you've got a marathon coming up in the next couple of months, then this training session is absolutely crucial for you. It's one that you're going to be able to repeat, and it's one that's going to give you the confidence on race day to really hone in and really hit that target time that you're aiming for. So it began about 30 years ago in the USA, and it was implemented by a coach who wanted to help his athletes, from amateur right through to professional, really come up with a realistic time that they could predict for their marathon, and a time that they could aim for and train towards. And he's used this year after year after year, and it's now being implemented by coaches and athletes all around the world. So just one point before we get into the actual details of the session. This session assumes that you have done the volume in the lead up to the marathon. It assumes that you've done your tempo runs, your long runs, that you're injury free, that you've been at the gym and doing the strength work, that you've done all those elements that are absolutely crucial. So don't just jump straight in and do this and think that you can do a marathon based on the times that you get from this. You've really got to put in those weeks and those months and that solid training base in order for this session to work and for this session to be an accurate predictor. So what exactly is the Yaso 800s? That's the name of this training session. He didn't actually name it himself. Bart didn't name this himself. It was given by another person who he used to work with. But the Yaso 800s are a classic track session that you can use towards your marathon training. And here's how it works. You run 800 meter repeats on the track, or anywhere where you've got a nice 800 meter marked out. It can be on the road, it can be anywhere if you don't have access to a track, but the track is perfect for it. You run an 800 meter repeat. Now let's say you run the 800 in 3 minutes 30. You want your recovery jog, your 1 lap recovery jog of 400 meters, to be an equal rest. So 3 minutes 30 as well. You then get back and you go straight into the next one. You run 800 meters and then you have your 400 meter float or your 1 lap float with the equal recovery. So you basically look at it and say, well, if I can run my 800 meter repeats at 3 minutes 30, then that can translate to a 3 hour 30 marathon. The maths is as simple as that. It seems crazy, but it's as simple as that. If you're looking to break the 4 hour mark in a marathon, then you want to be able to run these 800s at 4 minutes and have a 4 minute rest and go again. It seems very simple, but it's incredible as well. It works for your 3 hour marathon. Run your 800s in 3 minute pace and then have your 1 lap recovery at 3 minute pace as well. This has been tried and tested around the world, and they found that the accuracy is within 5 minutes, which is absolutely incredible. Regardless if you're a sub 3 hour runner or whether you're a 3 hour 30, 4 hour, 5 hour runner, the math seems to hold true. Now, importantly with this as well is that the first time you do it, you really only want to do 4 800s. 4 times 800 with 4 rest laps in between, and finish the session there with a nice warm up, warm down. About 3 weeks later, you want to repeat the session again, but this time do 5 800s with the 5 laps recovery in between, with the warm up and warm down. And each time that you're able to put this into your training program, you want to add 1 or 2 repeats each time until you're able to do 10 times 800. That's the golden number. That's the number that Yaso used to talk about. You have to be able to hit 10 times 800 with the float lap. And whatever your average time is there, let's say your average is 3 minutes and 25 seconds per 800, then you're in 3 hour, 25 minute marathon preparation time. And he said the perfect time to do the 10 times 800 when you get to the top of the tree, when you get the 10 reps out, is about 2 or 3 weeks out from your actual big marathon race. So start easy, start with the 4 reps, build up through 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then as you get really close to the marathon, do 9 or 10 of them. And once you can do 10, then you are ready, you're in marathon shape as long as you've done all the other work. And you can use that predictor, that race time predictor from the 800s to really hone in and smash that marathon PB. For me, this time of year is a really exciting time of year for running. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's brutally hot and we're just starting to come out of that now, and so people are starting to get their marathon training ideas and they're starting to choose which marathon they're going to go into. So it's a really exciting time of year in the Southern Hemisphere. In the north, of course, you're coming out of the winter into the spring marathons, and I just love watching the marathons on TV. I love watching Tokyo and London and Boston and Paris and Rotterdam and all those wonderful events from around the world. It makes us dream of one day being able to do those. So it is an incredible time of year. We get to see the best athletes. Maybe we get to see Kipchoge. I've heard reports he's going to be running in London this year, which would be absolutely wonderful to see him run again. So the marathon, it is a beautiful event. It's my favorite event. This is your weekly challenge for this week. I'm going to set my brother actually a weekly challenge. He's going to Boston in only a couple of weeks' time. And I'm going to set him this challenge. I want him to do the Yaso 800s to see how he goes. He's looking to crack a really magic number for himself. And I think this would be a great session for him to see whether he can do it. But for everyone else, I would actually just love to know, first and foremost, whether you've entered a marathon in 2019. Is there one coming up in a couple of weeks' time? Is there one coming up in a couple of months' time? Is it a big marathon? Is it one that you've had a crack at before and maybe it didn't go well? So guys and girls, that's it for another episode of Why I Run TV. A marathon special, a track special, one that I think could really revolutionize your marathon for this year, and maybe 2019 is the year that you can hit that marathon time you've been after. Whatever you've got coming up this week, whether there is a race, a trail race or a track race or anything like that, best of luck for your racing. If you're in a training block, stay patient with it. It's what I've been talking to a couple of guys at work about, is that you just have to get up each day, get up and run, trust in the process, stay really patient, and the rewards will come at the end of it. So rest up if it's a rest week, eat well, hydrate well, look after those things that you can do really simply, and we'll catch in with you for another episode of Why I Run TV in 7 days' time. Thanks again for checking in.